Grace and peace to you and your families. I hope all is well with you guys. I'm just done in my life, but I'm more excited about what he's doing in your life. And the reason why I can say that is because when I was praying and he put these sentiments in my mouth, oh my God, I'm excited. And the reason why I'm excited because see what you haven't done lately. And I'm going to ask you, and just be honest with yourself. Have you written it down? I'm talking to you. Have you written it down? Girl, what are you talking about? Let me help you. Have you written down the vision that God has given you of your life? Have you taken time to write those thoughts, those ideas, that vision? Because we already know that Habakkuk tells us to write it down. Because sometimes when you write things down, you have a tendency to let it stick a little bit more. But when you write it down because there's clarity. And then when you write it down, you can also begin to define what this is and what this means. Have you written it down? And you know, this morning when I was in my prayer time, I was talking to our God. And I told God these things. I said, God, give me that vision. Let me have a glimpse of it. Because see, a glimpse begin to show you what it looks like. Y'all heard of vision a lot because if you were a part of any church, they had what you call a mission statement and they had a vision. That vision is what we here for. This is what we do. This is how it looks when you come to this ministry. This is what we're aiming for. This is our direction. And you need a vision for your life. You need to write that thought, that ideal, that vision that God has given you for you. Now, please understand me. When he gives you this thing called a vision, it's never about just you. Everything that God does and will do for our lives, he does it on the kingdom perspective. So he has placed this thought, these ideas in your head. He has given you a vision that you ain't even write down yet. And you wonder why you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. You wonder why you can't see yourself getting past a point within your life because you haven't written it down. It's called a vision. And we already going to read this. We ain't read it yet. We get ready to read this sake of just seeing it in our eyes, seeing it out of our mouth so we can begin to get this thing in our spirit. We're going to look at Proverbs chapter 29. Yeah, you know I was going there, right? Proverbs 29 in verse 18 says these words. It says this: where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Where there is no vision, without having something set before you. See, when you begin to get that vision, you write it down. That vision is your destination. Anybody that deals with me, I'll often say, I know where I'm going. Because if you don't have something set in front of you, you're going to continue to get derailed. You're going to continue to run wild. You're going to continue to go to all these places that has no value, that has nothing to do with what God has placed in you to do. He says to write that vision, because without that vision, without something set before you to show you what it looks like, to show you where you're trying to get to, you'll keep doing them same old things that brought the heartache, the same old things that tripped you up, the same old things that got you distracted, the same old things that caused your heart to feel as if your life is worthless, and it is not. Because when God brought us into this earth, he put purpose in us. He gave us an assignment. He placed in you. You ain't got to ask nobody what it is. It's already there. You just got to begin to let those thoughts, those ideas, they ain't there for naught. And you keep saying those things, but you never write it down. You never put it before you. Write that thing down. Sit it in your mirror. Sit it on your door. This is where I'm trying to get to. You got to have it. And as you begin to trust God and pray, God, give me a glimpse of it. And as you begin to ask God for a glimpse of it, guess what he's going to do? He's going to give you another part of it to make it clear. And he give you another part to make it clear. You know why he keeps giving us part? Because it requires faith. This is a faith walk. Even in a Habakkuk, he said that just got to live by faith. God wants you to believe him for that thing which he already placed in you. Each one of us have our own uniqueness. But you sit there and I sit here and I let the enemy trip me up and I feel like I'm not getting no progress. It seems like I get set back instead of set up. It seems like I'm moving in circles and circles and circles. And it seems like I have nothing that I can say is mine. You get excited and even you get even jealous about somebody else's movement or somebody progression or somebody reaching their destiny when you got your own. And I want to share and encourage us with this. And I start off strong, but sometimes, you got to come and cut to the chase, because as God told me, he says, put it before you. Put the vision before you. Jacqueline, where are you trying to get to? What's your name out there? Whatever your name is, say whatever it is. What are you trying to get to? What thoughts have he been giving you lately? What ideas have he been giving you lately? What vision he has been giving you lately? Have you written it down? And you got to not just write it down to say I'm writing it down. You got to set it before you. And as you set it before you, got to pray, God, let me see. Give me a glimpse of what it looks like, because that vision is your destination. I love it. I was reading Dr. Miles Monroe, one of his books, and he got a book that says, talk about the principles of vision, and purpose. And he says this one thing. He says the vision is the key to an effective life, because when you begin to see your destination, it helps you to discipline your life in ways that train, prepare, and provide for your vision. He already said vision is an effective key of life. If you don't begin to set that thing before you, then you're going to keep going all these different places, because vision is that thing that fuels you. And when it fuels you, already saying, this is where I'm trying to get to. So anything that comes that's not trying to get to where you're going, you say, I ain't got no time for it. You don't even want it. Stop letting things and people and situations begin to cause you to just give up on where you're trying to get to. But you won't know where you're trying to get to unless you have it written out, unless you've been able to see it, unless he began to share it with you. And I do believe that God has a desire for us. He said, know the will of God. He says for you, he said, you know the will of God. You got to know that very thing that he has placed within you. Because listen, in all of our lives, life ain't no joke. This is a hard task that we have been given, called life. People trying to do life, and people trying to do life in so many different means and so many different ways. And they begin to try to do life through other people. They try to do life, based on what they think, what they assume. We ain't got to do all that. When God brought us into this earth, we already know that he gave man what? Dominion. He said, I want y'all to be the boss in this earth. And if I made y'all a boss, that means that I have given you the tools. I have given you the resources. I have given you the means. I have given you the ideas. I have given you the thoughts. I have given you a vision of what he's desired. So our main objective is, Lord, begin to give me a glimpse of what this thing looks like. Dr. Miles Monroe also said this, and I wrote it down. Sight is a function of the eyes, while vision is the function of the heart. Proverbs 23:7 says, "It's the heart, so is he." Whatever you thinking, so is he. There's the thought processes of our mind. We got to be careful, because whatever you think, you see your thoughts come to action, fruition, because you act out what's in your heart. And we already know the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. That's why we have to ask God, Father, create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit, because I want to do the things that you place within my heart, not what I assume. I don't want to begin to pick up the things that are happening around me. I don't want to begin to let the things that my past failures, my regrets, my hurts, I don't want that to stay a part of where you're taking me. So we got to begin to let God give us a clean heart, because he said, however you think, that's how you're going to perform. So we got to make sure that our thought processes, anything that is telling you opposite of what God already told you, that's a lie from the devil. And you got to cast it down. And you got to ask God, God, show me. Give me a glimpse of this thing. Because physical sight is the ability to see things that are. But a vision is the capacity to see things that could or should be. And that takes faith. You need faith to do this thing. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. There is no evidence of it. You and I got to have faith. And I'm sharing and I'm encouraging you right now. Have you written it down? Have you took those thoughts, those ideas, that vision? That ain't just in your head. That's what God wants to do with you, in you, through you. But you got to begin to write it down, and you got to begin to press toward that thing. Don't keep putting it off for tomorrow that is not promised. Do it today. Write it down. My encouragement to us is, Lord, Give me that vision. And once he begin to give you those thoughts, those ideas, that vision, write it down. Make it plain. And please understand me. And though he give it to you today, doesn't mean that it's going to come to pass today. Even in Habakkuk, he said it's for an appointed time. But he said, wait on it. Wait for it. You got to have a vision, because Proverbs tells us without a vision, if you don't know how it what it looks like, if you don't know how to perform it, if you don't know where you're going, that thing called a vision, then you're going to continue to keep going the way you're going. Past failures, regrets, hurts, never progressing, but only beginning to retreat instead of advance. My encouragement, write it down. You know he gave y'all some thoughts. You know he put some ideas. It ain't just in your head for you. It's in your head because he wants you to have an impact in this earth. I want you to be encouraged, but I want, most importantly, write it down. Take those thoughts, put it on paper. Put those visions that he has given you, those ideas, put it before you and pray on it. Ask God for clarity. Ask God to give you a glimpse of what it looks like. And I promise you he will. Till we meet, whether face to face or through the power of prayer, be encouraged. Stay focused. But most importantly, write it down. God bless you.